Good morning. Today on Spotlight, get ready for one of Detroit's annual holiday weekend signature events. If it's late August with Labor Day quickly approaching, it's time for the world's largest free international jazz festival. What's on tap for 2025? We'll ask the one and only Christopher Collins, President and Artistic Director of the Detroit Jazz Festival Foundation and the Gretchen Valade Endowed Chair at Wayne State University. And later on our Sunday morning program, Diane Brewer and Raymond Miller update us on the Michigan Education Trust Fostering Future Scholarship Program. It's Sunday, August the 24th. I'm Chuck Stokes, and this is Spotlight. 46 years. That's an incredible record, and we're inching our way to that big 50 years.
5-0, baby.
Yeah. If I said to someone who eats, sleeps, and breathes jazz, what is jazz and why is it so special to Detroit? What would you say?
Wow. Well, you know, jazz as a craft, it's a real language, history, and lineage. I mean, any jazz artist, you must absorb and understand and build on a really defined language and history. But then, and Detroit is a big part of this, the idea of innovation. What do you do with all that? What do you create with it? How do you find your own voice and be expressive within the context of an ensemble or group improvisation? So the group part, the communicative part is a big piece of it. And it's woven into Detroit because Detroit, you know, so much of the roots of this music came from traditional Africa through Spanish-speaking countries into the United States. And Detroit's population, Detroit's citizenry is reflective of a lot of the legacy musicians and people that created this language. And then Detroit itself, the innovative part, carried it on through the 40s, 50s, and 60s and influenced the entire jazz language. Not to mention, a lot of people in our town still listen and dig jazz every day. So they're kind of woven together and they impact one another.
Labor Day weekend, annual Jazz Fest. What kind of lineup are we looking at this time? What's the highlights for people to... And I know there's something like 60 some odd acts or more, so you can't say them all, but if you want to whet people's appetite.
Well, I'll tell you, there's something for everybody, and I mean that not fictitiously. It really is legacy artists like Chucho Valdez and Paquito de Rivera, longtime friends, coming together in a set. Branford Marsalis is back with us this year. Maria Schneider and her big band, and of course, our artist in residence, Jason Moran, who's actually opening.
He's been with us all year long.
All year, and he's opening the festival with a special set of him collaborating with Jeff Mills right from here in Detroit, one of the godfathers of the electronica movement, which also was given birth in the city of Detroit. And so that cross-culture, cross-genre thing is happening at a very sophisticated level. And then you have, you know, rising stars. I mean, Hiromi and her Sonic Wonder group is just going to set everybody on fire. Keon Harold has a brand new project. You know, so it's throughout the entire festival. People can see those important legends, Kenny Barron and whatnot, but also experience artists that are at a artistic threshold in their lives, and they're going to bring to Detroit something that would be very difficult to see at you know, in commonplace around, mixed with the world-class artists of Detroit in force. I mean, there's just so many great artists in their ensembles.
As you put this together from the artistic director standpoint right now, what's the goal when you sit down and you look at a piece of paper each year and say, okay, this is how I want to put this together and this is what I want to accomplish?
Yeah. Well, you know, first and foremost,
because you don't just look at it as a bean counter
No.
manager because you have that artistic ability.
And I have to, you know, I have to look at it all because we want this preserved for generations to come. Not only a premier festival, but keep it free, right? And
the world's largest free jazz festival.
It is, in fact, and how do you keep that alive? We're the last one in the world, and it's because it's really hard to do. I mean, we have to raise 4.5 to 5 million every single year. It's not easy to do, so I have to keep that in mind. But what I'm looking to bring to Detroit is a festival unlike any other jazz festival in that it's purely focused on jazz, the real art form, the legacy, the history, but then all of the tentacles and branches of that music, and give people things they know and things that are going to surprise them around every corner, and a celebration of the great Detroit legacy along the way. So it's really that approach artistically mixed with an overview of the business and the financial side to make sure that we're being good stewards of every dollar. 85 cents of every dollar donated goes directly to programming, which I'm very proud of, and all of our sponsors and all of our donors, like the Gretchen Valade Endowment of the Arts. I mean, we have to take all that into account, build on that generosity, and make sure that this stays around forever. So I'm kind of balancing the two, but it is the music and the art that forwards everything.
You got the 4 stages throughout downtown. You got opening night, which is always big and introduces everything to everyone. Some changes at Hart Plaza, I understand?
Yeah, so things that I think are better. We're always concerned about health and safety. So people will see that there are new entrance points to the festival where there is scanning by machines, and the police department are there, and but we made it quicker. We made it more streamlined so people can get in a lot faster. There's also a dedicated exit lane. There's a VIP security thing. So we encourage people, pack light, because if you're carrying big stuff, you're going to be searched. And the better you...
Don't come down with your barbecue pit.
Yeah, that's it. We got all kinds of great food and beverages and all kinds of things you can do there. So that's a little different in Hart Plaza. And then throughout the festival, the 4th stage this year is the Gretchen Valade Jazz Center. So now we have an opportunity for people to enjoy the stages in the Riverfront Hart Plaza and Campus Marshes, and then take the M1 rail right up to 1 block from the Valade Center, and we can talk about the special shows there because they are quite special.
All right, we're going to sneak a little break in here. We'll come right back and we'll pick up on that.
Good.
With Chris Collins, Artistic Director of the Detroit Jazz Festival Foundation, and he's also President of the Foundation. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Bless her heart, Gretchen Valade did so much for this jazz festival and music in this town and the Mac Records and all of that. Left a wonderful legacy and left a wonderful gift for us. But she also had a big footprint at Wayne State University in the new center there.
Yeah, well, very early on, she talked to me about she wanted something, in Midtown, downtown, that represented the best of jazz. That jazz should be treated like every European art form, opera and orchestral music. And you can play clubs with jazz, and if you want to do something larger, you're in a hall that probably wasn't designed for jazz, and you have to fill 2,000 seats. It gets unwieldy. So the place that was created, the Gretchen Valade Jazz Center on the campus of Wayne State, it is about 320, 340 seat capacities in the Detroit Jazz Hall. The room was completely acoustically and with backline and technology all designed specifically for jazz. Every seat in the house
beautiful.
is warm and beautiful. Yeah, and it elevates all the back of house, the facilities, the electronics, the instrument, the hand-picked Steinway 9-foot. It's all about elevating jazz for the audiences and the artists to the level of the highest form of art.
Yeah, Labor Day, it's important. You get all that. That's sort of the highlight. But all year long, you've got programming throughout Southeast Michigan.
That's right, and we'll be doing a lot more in 26 because the more programming at the Valade Center starts at that point. They can check that out. But this year we are expanding it to be our 4th stage. So from Friday through Monday, Labor Day weekend. In the early part of the day, around noon, you have our select high school showcases, hundreds of students from different high schools on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning, and then the DPS showcase on Monday morning. So folks can go down there for free and hear those select really great bands play. Then they can come down to the festival. This footprint opens around 2 o'clock. And then at the end of each night is a highlight national artist of great note back at the Gretchen Valade Jazz Center in the Detroit Jazz Hall. We have Friday night the Emmett Cohen Trio, Saturday night the James Carter Organ Trio, and then on Sunday night Rodney Whitaker in tribute to Joe Henderson with a whole bunch of guest artists. And it is from 10:30 till midnight at the Valade Center. Still free, but the capacity is limited, but they could get to hear an amazing performance at the end of each night of the festival in this indoor venue. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I also noticed that on Labor Day, the finale of it all, Marion Hayden, the great bassist, born and raised Detroiter. This has been a phenomenal year for her. She's the Kresge Endowed Scholar. So she got a big check to go along with that, which I think brought a smile to her face. But talk a little bit about Marion, and these homegrown artists that have performed all over the world.
Yeah, Detroit,
but they're ours.
Yeah, and Detroit continues to output world-class musicians that people all over the world, hunger to hear. And we're fortunate they've decided to live in our city. So Marion's a great example, doing a tribute with her longtime mentor and friend Kamal Kenyatta with selected Detroit artists. She's going to really bring her vision and her history to life in her set on Monday. We have our upcoming important artists, Alan Denard Jr., Louis Jones III. These are people that were in some of the Jazz Festival's middle and high school programs. And now they're in their professional career, and man, they've put ensembles together that are based on the tradition, but really forward-looking. So you're going to see that mix of the well-known Detroit artists and these upcoming artists that I always kind of track and watch, and they get to that moment where people need to hear this, because it's uniquely Detroit, it's uniquely them, and it is what jazz is supposed to be, which is an ongoing thing.
If you can't make it down to the Jazz Festival, you can still access it because of all the streaming and the live performances, correct?
That's right. You can get all the information.
One of the benefits of COVID, right?
That's it. And the thing we did is, we have metric that every year. We have over 300,000 people in person at the festival. We had last year nearly 2 million unique viewers in 36 or so odd countries around the world. So they got a great view of Detroit and our love of this music and our energy to support it. And they can do that again this year at our YouTube channels and Facebook, and also go to the website and see the raw streams. They can pick and choose from any stage.
Chris, what does this do for the branding of Detroit and Southeast Michigan as we're all experiencing this revitalization of our city?
Well, surviving art in any culture represents the true priorities of that culture. In other words, if a culture doesn't support some art or creative aspect, which requires philanthropy, it goes away. And future generations look back on cultures and cities and say, oh, that's who they were, because you can see what they supported. People are going to look back on Detroit, and the Detroit Jazz Festival is an important aspect. They're going to say, wow, that city made sure that festival stayed at the top level and remained free and accessible to everyone in the world. That speaks very highly and is reflective of the family attitude and the love and the concern that Detroit has that this art form propagates, but propagates in a way that everyone can access it and enjoy it and be part of it. This is unique in all the world, and it sends that message out as to what's important to us here in the city.
Out of the places you've played outside of Detroit, what was the highlight of your career?
Oh, it's hard to pick one. I mean, I've been very blessed.
Give me a couple.
Well, played,
a couple that stick with you.
Yeah, I played on a number of tours where, I got to play under Quincy Jones, and Phil Collins did a big band with a bunch of stars for two months. I toured with him, and Doc Severinsen called me. I got to play with all the cats from Tonight Show band on and off for years. Good. But, it's the solo stuff, the stuff that is really personal to me. Just did a couple of records with TRJ Records out in Milan, Italy. And we've been touring throughout Europe with the Hurricane Trio and Chris Collins, and playing clubs and festivals. We're doing the Tuscany Festival in the fall, and these are like opera house type buildings and huge venues at castles, and you're playing European jazz, which it's like playing in Cuba with the Cubans, man. You got to really study that. It's a whole different mixed music.
And Europeans really appreciate this art form.
They love it.
That started
and
here
they
in
love
America.
the American kind of European thing, but they love their own character, their own personality in the music, and it gets me to push myself a little harder. I love it.
All right, Chris Collins, thanks so much for coming in.
Pleasure, Chuck.
Once again, Labor Day weekend, downtown Detroit. Don't miss it. And when Spotlight returns, I'll sit down with Mets Diane Brewer and Raymond Miller. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Diane, I'm going to start with you. This is one of my favorite times of the year because we get to talk to a young person about their future and about a program that historically has done a tremendous job impacting young people. You've got a big event coming up on September 12th, correct?
That's true. We're back at Rooster Tail.
You're
this
back at the
year.
famed Rooster Tail, downtown,
Yeah.
kind of downtown, a little off from downtown, off Jefferson. Carolyn Clifford, our very own Carolyn Clifford, reporter and anchor, is going to MC again for you,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, it's our 13th year, and Carolyn's been with us since the beginning.
Yeah, she's so dedicated, and she's like me. She loves this program. Um, what will be the highlight of it?
Well, we're having a panel this year. We've got 4 different individuals with ties to the foster care system to speak about the state of the system, where we're going, you know, in the future to take care of youth and even children who need assistance.
Right. And people who've been in foster care, they have unique needs as opposed to the average college student, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes the agencies, the different agencies and people like us with scholarships and different things are feeling a need that a family is not able to, you know, in this instance. So it's, you know, being able to count on someone that's going to lend support.
Absolutely. Raymond, you're one of the beneficiaries of this program. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you in school?
Currently, I'm enrolled at Western Michigan University,
Okay.
studying aviation, and I'm currently a senior now. I felt like traveling was the one thing that let me escape the world from my background. It let me see other parts of the world and let me just experience something new.
Sure.
And luckily for me, my sister, she studied aerospace engineering, and she was the kind of one that gave me the idea to look into aviation. Because when I went to community college, I thought about doing hospitality management. Because that was kind of my first thought of maybe working at fine hotels all around the world. That was my first original idea.
Right.
And then she was like, well, if you like traveling and planes and stuff, look into something more like aviation. And I was like,
So you can fly to different places and still
Yeah.
experience all the best hotels in the world.
yes, yes.
Yeah. You were in foster care starting at what age? What happened?
So it started at 6 for me. Yes. We got into the system. Well, I got into the system by, I really don't know too much. I never really got told the real story of why I got into the system. And at this point, I kind of just stopped looking into it.
Right, because you're focused on the future.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
You have siblings,
yes.
and part of the time you were with them, part of the time you weren't, I guess.
Yes, so we got separated a few times, and then as of now, I kind of got back with some of my siblings, my older ones. 2 of them was twins, and they got adopted off right at the beginning of it, so have no contact with them since that time. But luckily, I've been able to reach and get in contact with my older siblings on my mom's side.
All right. We're going to rush to a little break here. We're going to come right back. We're going to talk to you and Diane a little more about the program. I want to hear about some of the experiences that you've had and what MET has done in terms of helping you through this Fostering Future Scholarship. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And welcome back to Spotlight. Raymond, tell me about some of the experiences that you've had since you've been involved with this aviation program and studying abroad.
Yeah, so originally, back in 2023, I did my first study abroad into Dominican Republic.
Was that your first flight?
No, that wasn't my first flight.
Okay.
My first flight was actually to go see my sister in Florida, and that's what made me love planes.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why I started talking about planes and aviation. I just loved the experience. And the crazy thing about it too was my first flight was by myself. I didn't have nobody with me, so I had to learn how to maneuver through the airport and everything by myself, and I just loved that experience, and I thought it was awesome.
All right, so you've been to Dominican Republic, where else?
I've been to Iceland, Toronto, and then in the future, I plan to go to India. So,
That's at the end of this year.
yes.
Okay. What's your long-term goal? You want to be a commercial pilot,
So my long-term
passenger
goals,
pilot?
I don't know if I want to be a pilot per se. So I just actually got back from an internship this summer, working down in Nebraska. So I just went to Nebraska too.
Okay.
And I got to work at a good company doing avionics line, which is basically just working on repair, troubleshooting, and navigation for aircrafts. And with that experience, it taught me that I kind of want to do something on the side of going into sales for aviation.
Very good.
So, yeah.
What advice would you give to a young person who might be in foster care, similar situation to yours, not sure what their future is or if they even have a future? What would you say to them?
I would say for me personally, having the support system I have now definitely got me to where I'm at. Meeting great people like my mentors, which got me into this where I'm at right now today. It's going to be the first step you want to do.
It's not where you start, it's where you finish.
Yes.
Absolutely. Diane Brewer, how long has the program been going on? Because you've been here year after year.
Yeah, it's 13 years. This will be our 13th dinner event in September.
And how many students are you serving currently, roughly?
This year there were 427 students awarded. Usually that's right at where we fall, between 420 and 450 for the number of students. And this is something that a student applies for each year, and it gets renewed as they apply. But we're going to change that up a bit in 2006. So it'll be a one-time application, that depending on certain factors. And
So you conceivably could have it all 4 years,
Yes.
depending on how long it's taking you to get through
yes,
college.
how long it takes. You know, not everybody can go full-time.
Sure.
Sometimes it's stretched over a longer period.
But you don't have to go through the whole application process every single year.
That's correct.
I would imagine a key to this is keeping your average up, keeping your grades up.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you do that, then there may be more money coming around the corner for you.
Exactly. It gives a sense of, you know, solidity, you know, knowing there's something going to be there. So, yeah.
You've been involved with MET for a long time. This is just one of the programs because they have many programs. What is it about this program that really touches you, that makes a difference?
We get to meet so many of the students in so many different capacities. You're not just working with a name on a paper necessarily. Through the 3 different events that we have over the course of the year, you actually get to interact and hear their life stories and see the excitement, you
Right.
know, that they have.
And you can see it in Raymond's face every time he talks about where he's been and where he's planning to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Tickets are still available for the gala at the Rooster Tail, correct?
That is correct.
All right, we'll put all the information on the screen, and hopefully you have a big crowd, a bigger crowd than last year, because you always have a big crowd.
We do.
All
It's
right.
always a wonderful event.
And Carolyn's going to draw them in, and the treasurer for the state of Michigan is also going to be very much involved as
Yes.
well. All right, Diane Brewer, thanks so much for coming in, and best of luck. Raymond Miller, thank you, and the sky's the limit. Thank you as well. And I'm Chuck Stokes. We'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the spotlight. We hope you have a great week.